September 2025. As the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam began generating its first megawatts of electricity, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed stood before the nation and made an unexpected announcement. Ethiopia, he declared, would pursue nuclear power. For a country that had just completed Africa's largest hydroelectric project, the timing seemed unusual. Why nuclear? Why now?
ኢትዮጵያ የህዳሴን ግድብ የሚተካከል ለሰላማዊ ዓላማ ብቻ የሚውል የኒውክሌር ፕላንት በቅርቡ ሥራ ትጀምራለች።
4 months later, in December 2025, that vision became tangible. The Ethiopian Nuclear Energy Commission officially launched operations in Addis Ababa. Commissioner Sandakan Debebe signed a non-disclosure agreement with Russia's Rosatom in Moscow. International Atomic Energy Agency Director General Rafael Grossi pledged full support.
It is a pleasure to address this notable occasion, the official launch of the Ethiopian Nuclear Power Program and the first high-level event of the newly established Ethiopian Nuclear Energy Commission.
The roadmap was set. Ethiopia's nuclear future had begun. This is the story of Ethiopia's most ambitious energy project yet, a journey from hydropower dominance to nuclear capability, from climate vulnerability to energy sovereignty. This is Ethiopia's nuclear dawn. To understand why Ethiopia needs nuclear power, we must first understand its energy reality. Ethiopia is the second most populous nation in Africa, with over 120 million people. Its economy has been among the continent's fastest growing for the past 2 decades. Addis Ababa's skyline rises higher each year. Industrial parks sprawl across once rural landscapes. And with growth comes an insatiable demand for electricity. Today, over 80% of Ethiopia's power comes from hydroelectric sources. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, with its 5,150 megawatt capacity, represents the pinnacle of this strategy. It is a marvel of engineering and a symbol of African self-reliance. Yet for all its grandeur, GERD reveals a fundamental vulnerability: Ethiopia's dependence on water. Climate change is altering rainfall patterns across the Horn of Africa. Droughts that once occurred every decade now arrive every few years. When water levels drop, hydroelectric output falls, industries shut down, exports to neighboring countries cease, the economy stutters. This is the paradox of renewable energy dependence. Hydropower is clean, but it is not always reliable. Solar and wind offer alternatives, but they too are intermittent. The sun does not shine at night. The wind does not blow on schedule. Ethiopia's industrial ambitions require baseload power, electricity that flows constantly, predictably, regardless of weather or season. Nuclear energy provides exactly that. According to Abdurazak Omer, Deputy Commissioner of the Ethiopian Nuclear Energy Commission, the power density of nuclear fuel is staggering. A single uranium pellet the size of your thumb can produce as much energy as 481,000 liters of natural gas, 564 liters of liquid fuel, or 1,000 kilograms of coal. This is not just efficiency, it is transformation. Ethiopia is not pioneering nuclear power. It is joining a global movement. By 2050, international energy targets aim for 25% of the world's electricity to come from nuclear sources as part of the fight against carbon emissions. Currently, 32 countries operate nuclear power plants. Another 30 are developing programs. Africa, long absent from this conversation, is now entering the nuclear age. Egypt signed agreements with Russia for its first nuclear plant at El Dabaa. Kenya has explored nuclear options for years. Ghana, Nigeria, and Sudan have all expressed interest. Ethiopia's entry into this space is not anomalous. It is part of Africa's broader energy evolution. But nuclear power carries a heavy historical burden. The word itself conjures images of disaster. Chernobyl, Fukushima, 3 Mile Island. These names are synonymous with catastrophe, radiation, and human suffering. For many Ethiopians, the question is simple. Is nuclear power safe? The Ethiopian Nuclear Energy Commission addresses this fear directly. Yes, accidents have occurred, but every one of them, Chernobyl in 1986, 3 Mile Island in 1979, Fukushima in 2011, was caused by human error, not by inherent flaws in nuclear technology itself. At Chernobyl, Soviet operators violated safety protocols during a poorly planned test, disabling critical safety systems. The reactor's design lacked a containment structure. When the core overheated, there was nothing to stop the release of radiation. At 3 Mile Island, a combination of equipment failure and operator confusion led to a partial meltdown, though containment systems prevented major releases. At Fukushima, the reactors themselves withstood a massive earthquake, but the tsunami that followed disabled backup cooling systems. Again, human planning, the failure to anticipate extreme natural events, was the root cause. Modern nuclear reactors are fundamentally different. They incorporate passive safety features that do not rely on human intervention or external power. If cooling systems fail, the reactor automatically shuts down. Fourth-generation designs are even more advanced, using fuels and configurations that make meltdowns physically impossible. The Commission emphasizes a striking statistic. Nuclear energy has caused fewer deaths per unit of electricity generated than coal, oil, natural gas, or even hydropower. The Banqiao Dam failure in China in 1975 killed an estimated 171,000 people. Yet dams are not feared the way nuclear plants are. Perception, the Commission argues, does not always align with reality. Ethiopia's decision to pursue nuclear power is not just about safety or efficiency. It is about the scale of the country's ambitions. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has unveiled a $30 billion infrastructure initiative, of which nuclear power is a cornerstone. The plan calls for 2 nuclear reactor units to be operational between 2032 and 2034, each with a capacity of around 1,200 megawatts. Small modular reactors are also under consideration for remote areas and specialized applications. Why such urgency? Ethiopia's electrification rate is just above 45%. Per capita electricity consumption stands at only 86 kilowatt-hours per year, one of the lowest in the world. Meanwhile, the country's population is young, urban, and digitally connected. Internet usage is rising, data centers are being built, advanced manufacturing is taking root. All of these require stable, abundant electricity. Minister of Foreign Affairs Gideon Timotheus emphasized at the December launch event that nuclear power will play a central role in ensuring energy security, supporting urbanization, and powering emerging sectors such as data centers and advanced manufacturing. Ethiopia's vision is not just to light homes, but to power a modern, industrialized economy. Commissioner Sandakan Debebe went further. At the launch, he stated that Ethiopia's nuclear vision extends beyond electricity generation. Nuclear science will be applied in healthcare for diagnostic imaging and cancer treatment. In agriculture, radiation can improve crop yields and control pests. In industry, isotopes are used for quality control and material testing. In research, nuclear technology opens frontiers in medicine, physics, and environmental science. This is not merely adding another energy source, it is building the foundation of a knowledge economy. As Sandakan put it, we are not merely adding another technology, we are securing the foundation of our future economy. Ethiopia's nuclear journey is deeply tied to its partnership with Russia. In September 2025, during World Atomic Week in Moscow, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and President Vladimir Putin witnessed the signing of a nuclear power plant development action plan between Rosatom, Russia's State Atomic Energy Corporation, and Ethiopian Electric Power. This was not Ethiopia's first engagement with Russian nuclear expertise. As early as 2018, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov's visit to Addis Ababa resulted in agreements on educational and technical cooperation in nuclear science. In 2023, the two countries signed a roadmap for bilateral atomic energy cooperation covering feasibility studies, capacity building, and infrastructure development. Rosatom is a dominant force in global nuclear energy. It operates in over 50 countries, with ongoing projects in Egypt, Turkey, Bangladesh, and beyond. The company offers not just reactors, but comprehensive packages, financing, construction, fuel supply, operator training, and waste management. For countries like Ethiopia, which lack domestic nuclear expertise, this turnkey approach is attractive. In December 2025, Commissioner Sandakan Debebe traveled to Moscow for substantive discussions. On December 17th, he and Andrei Rozhadestvin, Director General of Rosatom Energy Projects, signed a non-disclosure agreement. A detailed roadmap for moving from feasibility studies to construction was finalized. The Ethiopian delegation toured the Kalinin nuclear power plant, observing operational systems and safety protocols firsthand. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to the project. Russia sees Ethiopia as a gateway to deeper engagement in Africa. Ethiopia sees Russia as a proven partner capable of delivering on large-scale infrastructure. The alignment of interests is clear. Yet this partnership is not without geopolitical implications. Russia's influence in Africa has grown significantly in recent years, from military cooperation to resource extraction to energy infrastructure. For Ethiopia, aligning with Rosatom signals a diversification of international partnerships, reducing reliance on Western donors and Chinese loans. It positions Addis Ababa as a player in a multipolar world. Critics may question whether dependence on Russian technology and fuel creates new vulnerabilities. The Commission counters that international uranium markets are diverse. Russia produces 40% of global supply, but Kazakhstan, Canada, Australia, and Niger are also major producers. Ethiopia, the Commission assures, will not be locked into a single supplier. Ethiopia's nuclear program is not being built in isolation. From the outset, the country has emphasized alignment with international standards. The International Atomic Energy Agency, the UN body responsible for promoting safe and peaceful nuclear energy, has been integral to Ethiopia's process. In his webinar address at the December launch, IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi emphasized that the establishment of the Ethiopian Nuclear Energy Commission is critical for developing and regulating nuclear power in line with international safety and security standards. He noted that nuclear energy has strong potential as a reliable, low-carbon electricity source capable of accelerating Ethiopia's socio-economic transformation. The IAEA is already working with Ethiopia under its Technical Cooperation Program. This involves strengthening human resources, building institutional capacity, and preparing for infrastructure milestones. Ethiopian scientists and engineers are receiving training in nuclear physics, reactor operation, radiation protection, and regulatory oversight. The goal is to create a domestic workforce capable of managing every aspect of the nuclear program. From December 9th to 11th, 2025, the Ethiopian Nuclear Energy Commission hosted the first national stakeholder consultative workshop in Addis Ababa in collaboration with the IAEA. The workshop brought together key national institutions to explore the IAEA's milestones approach, a phased framework for countries embarking on nuclear power programs. It covered critical issues: site selection, environmental assessments, regulatory frameworks, workforce development, and establishing an owner-operator entity. Ethiopia is following a deliberate, methodical path. The IAEA milestones approach divides nuclear development into 3 phases. Phase 1 focuses on considerations, assessing whether nuclear power is appropriate. Phase 2 involves preparations, developing infrastructure, regulations, and human capital. Phase 3 is construction and operation. Ethiopia is currently in the early stages of Phase 2. This transparency is intentional. Ethiopia has signed the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. It is a party to the African Nuclear Weapon-Free Zone Treaty, also known as the Pelindaba Treaty. Commissioner Sandakan has repeatedly stressed that Ethiopia's nuclear program will serve exclusively peaceful purposes. There will be no weapons, no military applications, only energy, healthcare, agriculture, and research. The commitment to international oversight is also strategic. By adhering to IAEA standards and treaties, Ethiopia gains access to financing, technology, and expertise that would otherwise be unavailable. It also builds trust with neighbors and global partners. In a region marked by suspicion and rivalry, transparency is a diplomatic asset. So when will Ethiopia's first nuclear power plant come online? The timeline is ambitious but achievable. A comprehensive pre-feasibility study covering technical, legal, financial, and environmental aspects has already been completed. The roadmap signed with Rosatom in December 2025 establishes the next steps: detailed feasibility studies, site selection, environmental impact assessments, and an intergovernmental agreement. If all proceeds as planned, Ethiopia aims to have its first nuclear reactor operational between 2032 and 2034. That is less than a decade away. For a country with no prior nuclear infrastructure, this is an extraordinary undertaking. Yet Ethiopia has experience with large-scale, complex projects. The construction of GERD, completed despite international pressure and financing challenges, demonstrated what national determination can achieve. Commissioner Sandakan Debaby has compared the effort required for nuclear energy to the unity and commitment shown during GERD's construction. Nuclear power, he argues, demands even greater coordination. It requires legal frameworks, regulatory bodies, trained personnel, public acceptance, and international cooperation. It is not just an engineering project. It is a national transformation. One major challenge is cost. Nuclear plants are capital intensive. A single 1,200 megawatt reactor can cost between $6 billion and $9 billion, depending on design and location. Ethiopia's government has not disclosed how it will finance the project, though Rosatom's model typically includes credit arrangements where payment is tied to electricity generation. This reduces upfront financial burden, but creates long-term obligations. Another challenge is regional dynamics. Ethiopia's relationships with Egypt and Sudan are already strained over the GERD and Nile water rights. Introducing nuclear technology into this context could raise new concerns. Will neighbors fear military applications? Will they demand oversight or assurances? Ethiopia's adherence to international treaties is meant to address these concerns, but diplomacy will be essential. Despite these challenges, momentum is building. The Ethiopian Nuclear Energy Commission is operational. International partnerships are in place. The legal and regulatory framework is being developed. Training programs are underway. The vision is clear. Ethiopia is on the path to becoming Africa's next nuclear energy nation. Ethiopia's nuclear ambitions are about more than kilowatts and megawatts. They are about sovereignty. For decades, Ethiopia has depended on external actors for technology, financing, and expertise. Hydropower reduced some of this dependence, but climate variability exposed its limits. Nuclear energy, if successfully developed, offers a path to genuine energy independence. It is also about resilience. A diversified energy portfolio, hydropower, solar, wind, and nuclear, protects against the failures of any single source. When droughts reduce water flow, nuclear reactors continue operating. When clouds block the sun, the grid remains stable. This is not just economic planning, it is survival strategy in an era of climate unpredictability. And it is about ambition. Ethiopia does not aspire to be a subsistence economy. It aims to be an industrial powerhouse, a regional hub, a center of innovation. Nuclear technology signals this ambition to the world. It says, Ethiopia is not content with the status quo. It is building the infrastructure of a modern, advanced nation. By 2030, Ethiopia aims to achieve 100% electricity access from renewable and low-carbon sources, supply clean cooking fuels to 20 million households, and expand generation capacity from 5.2 gigawatts to 19 gigawatts. Nuclear power is central to these goals. The road ahead will not be easy. Technical challenges, financial constraints, public skepticism, and regional politics all pose obstacles. But Ethiopia has overcome challenges before. It built GERD when experts said it was impossible. It maintained sovereignty when pressures mounted. It charted its own course when others demanded compliance. Now, as the sun rises over the Ethiopian highlands, a new energy era begins, not just for Ethiopia, but for Africa. If Ethiopia succeeds, it will inspire others. Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, Tanzania. The continent's energy future is being written, and Ethiopia is holding the pen. Nuclear energy is not without risk, but neither is inaction. The question is not whether Ethiopia should pursue nuclear power, but whether it can afford not to. For a nation of 120 million people with dreams of prosperity, the answer is clear. This is Ethiopia's nuclear future, and it starts now. For HornAfrica Insight, thank you for watching.